It was morning. I didn't sleep well. The continuous series of incidents and the pain in my body made it difficult to fall asleep. I heard arguments and the sound of things getting smashed in my half-asleep state, but I didn't notice anything off in the room. The taste of blood in my mouth was nauseating, and all my muscles seemed to be twitching in pain. Let's take a look at this note. I should check out the bathroom after hearing the sound from it last night. I staggered to my feet and tried to go rinse my mouth in the bathroom. Instead, I lost my balance and fell to the floor. I gave up and just left myself lying on the floor, feeling my chest upheaving through deep breathing. Every heartbeat reminded me of the fact I was still alive. I wasn't sure if she just woke up early or didn't sleep at all, but the girl was laying against the window with half a burning cigarette in her hand. She just gave me a look when I fell down. The air was so heavy that no one bothered to say anything. Time flew. Even the cigarette sparks started to fade. Another cigarette was lit and then it was out. The repetition continued until the whole pack was gone. Anything to eat? My voice apparently shocked the girl, who immediately tensed her body up like an alarmed cat and jumped out of her chair. I was too scared to make any sound. She stared at me briefly before giving a long sigh while supporting her head. With bags under her eyes, she didn't even bother to complain. Nothing is more important than food. No one knew what would happen next. I didn't have the spare energy to think about anything else but the present. She threw the bread at me with a self-deprecating smile on her face. Let's talk. Oh shit, the young girl's here too. What do you plan to do next? So, what do you plan to do next? She replied without a second thought. The expression was so deadpan I couldn't even tell if she was joking. Maybe the money will come in soon? She stole a glance at me and snorted in displeasure. I do hope he sends the money over soon, though. Noticing the helplessness and seriousness in my voice, she didn't retort as usual and only quietly turned her head. Let's see. Maybe there's something around the room. That's a cigarette butt. Oh. There's the paper cranes. Colored paper and origami cranes are scattered on the ground. All these clean folding lines are from the same hands of the young girl. Maybe we can chat again. Let's see what the other older girl has. Nah, let's go back. Let's take a look at the bathroom. Oh, the window is smashed. I don't want to be too aggro. Let's see how things go. Let's talk with her again. So in the end, no money.
何が言いたいんだ?
I want to say he doesn't give a crap about me. Better do your research next time you try kidnapping. The long wait led to the result. I could only laugh bitterly.
全然笑えない。金のため、これほどの人間になれるとは気持ちが悪い。
Well, he's a famous CEO featured in magazines and admired by many, though.
だから、そいつらの頭もおかしいって。
She grunted next to the wall, looking at me with an expression of sympathy.
あんたはそんな奴らと距離を取った方がいい。そうしないと、遅かれ早かれ、奴らのようになってしまう。
Like them, huh? Without noticing herself, she spoke of me as one of us instead of one of them. Who knows, maybe getting kidnapped was not such a bad thing. After a while, the little girl woke up as well. She sat up slowly on the bed. She looked at her sister first, then to me, then lowered her head helplessly. Either was her sister yelling at her or shaking her fist with an insane nasty face. These all must be unfamiliar to her. Oh, note. She said nothing even after seeing her sister's abuse. She just sat there quietly folding paper. She thought everything was under control. She thought if she listened to Big Sis there would be money. Now she realized things were out of control. Not only would there be no money coming, they might have to face the penalty. The bubble of fantasy popped, leaving only the terrifying reality that made people uncomfortable.
何か食べなさい。
The girl passed the breakfast to her sister. The little girl raised her head and looked at her big sis, hoping to hear some words of encouragement or explanation. But there was nothing. The girl just leaned against the wall without a word. There were too many things to think about, and her sister's feelings were the least of her concerns. The little girl didn't ask anything. She knew no one could answer her question. Or perhaps she already knew the answer. She started to make paper cranes after finishing the sandwiches. Her mechanical movements held no meaning. There would never be enough cranes to pay out the debt without the ransom. She knew that too. That was all she could do to support her sister, nothing more. It was said that making 1,000 paper cranes would pass her wish to the divine. Looking at all the cranes on the floor, I wondered if her wish had been heard. Okay. I guess we can ask the little. Nah, no, let's not. Maybe we can observe a bit. Let's see. Okay. I guess we can just chat. Let's talk to the young girl. You.
何が言いたい?
I was interrupted by the girl when I tried to talk to her little sister. She warned me coldly.
言いたいことがあったら私に言え。彼女に話しかけないで。
The young girl raised her head and stole a glance at me, then immediately went back to folding papers after hearing Big Sis's words. That didn't work. Do you live here?
なんで聞くの?
She didn't answer directly, but carefully asked back. After I managed to trick her a few times, she got more and more careful when talking to me, fearing to reveal more information. I saw toothbrushes and glasses in the bathroom, so I thought you might live here.
それで?
I think only homeless people would find this place attractive. Hearing my honest answer, she covered her mouth and giggled in a bit of mocking manner.
ホームレスとあまり変わらないな、私たち。彼ら。
Oops. Ended that too fast. I guess we'll go to the bathroom. I could die. There are tons of shattered glass shards on the floor. I might get hurt by them if I'm not careful. I tried playing with shattered glass before. My nanny nagged me for the whole afternoon after finding my hand covered in blood.
Oi.
I was dozing off against the wall. She was next to me when I raised my head to her voice.
あんたの親父に電話するから、痛い目に遭いたくないなら言うことを聞けよ。
This was the first time she had stuck up conversation with me since yesterday. She seemed to have made up her mind, judging by her determined tone. Fine. She probably didn't expect me to play nice like this and started examining me top to bottom with a surprised expression. I can go home as soon as she pays, right? I want to get this over with ASAP. We share the same goal here.
あんた、意外と頭がよく回るね。
I don't care how much he has to pay. I'll just see it as compensation for ignoring me.
それに、どれくらいの価値があると思ってる?
Her lips formed into a rare smile. She started to press the buttons on the phone, but so fast as though not giving herself time to regret. The little girl stopped her movements and held her breath for the upcoming developments. It was connected.
なぜ金がまだ入ってこないんだ?
The girl talked into the phone coldly. Ellen could sense the suppressed anger in her voice.
小細工をするな。息子はまだこっちの手の中だぞ。人は殺せないとでも思ってるのか?
She was pulling her messy hair and biting her lip so hard that blood was close to oozing out. There was also a sense of panic in her tone. Unlike the careful negotiation process in movies, this was more like an emotional venting session. She got more and more agitated, and eventually an angry fist landed on the desk, almost bumping everything to the floor. The little girl looked at her big sis. I could see the fear in her black eyes. 2 hands were stiffly blocking her chest as though to protect herself. As an accomplice, she didn't have the courage to ask. She could only wait for the next instruction from her sister. Cowardice. Weakness. One could probably accuse the little girl of these things. However, relying on her sister was her only way of living. The girl walked towards me suddenly and pressed the phone against my ear after turning on the speaker.
親父に早く金を払うよう言え。変な真似をするなよ。でないと痛い目に遭うのはあんた自身だからな。
Are you alright, Hao-chan? There's a deep voice from the other side of the phone. I respond absent-mindedly, not sure what to say at that instant. Not due to familiarity or sentimental feelings, but more from the sense of distance between the two of us. Compared to father, even the kidnappers felt a little closer to me. Don't worry, we are taking care of this. Things will be fine. If you really care about me, why haven't you paid? The words got stuck in my throat, and I could feel my reluctance to speak up slowly fading. Whether it was the fear of being kidnapped, the pain in my body, or the illness that weakened me, I survived all of it. Yet his voice alone made me want to scream. We're gathering the money, but the amount is too high and we need more time. Stop lying. What did you say? Hao-chan? Are you okay?
うるさい。また息子に会いたいならさっさと金を振り込め。
Noticing my abnormal actions, she grabbed the phone and spoke mockingly.
堂々たる社長様がうん千万くらい簡単なものだろ。何かを企んでいるのはお見通しだよ。これは警告だ。今日の夜0時まで金が入ってこなかったら、息子の声を聞くのは今のが最後になるからな。
Not giving him a chance to respond, she hung up the phone without hesitation.
やろう。
After throwing the phone onto the desk, she saw the scared look on the little girl's face, as though asking what to do. She took a deep breath and managed to form a smile.
大丈夫。すぐ終わる。
She tried to comfort her sister, but didn't seem to have that much confidence in herself either. She pulled out the chair and took out a cigarette with a trembling hand. Noticing my stare, she held her trembling left hand.
何見てるんだ。怖いなら親父が早く金を払うようお祈りでもしてろ。
I want that too. Having probably never thought of this turn of events, she could do anything but threaten me. She wanted this to be over as much as I did. All these risks were for the money. Without the ransom, the hostage was just a burden. She really couldn't get the ransom. Her best option was to escape rather than waiting for the police to come. So how could I convince her to give up?
あんた、今の反応はちょっとやりすぎじゃないか。親父と喧嘩するつもり？
His voice pissed me off. He didn't care about me and only acted like a good dad now. And in the end, he still refused to pay. He could at least have done a better job faking that.
金のためなら息子の安否も顧みないってか。あんたら、マジでどうかしてるよ。
Unable to hide her exhaustion, she supported her head while mumbling. I didn't get it either. I thought the world was a delicate machine. It moved as it was designed, and we all took great pride in it. Yet ever since my mother's affair, I learned the machine was not as perfect as I'd imagined. And I only discovered more problems the older I got. The rusty pieces were hard to use, and the worn cogs were making strange sounds. The once great machine looked like a stupid pile of scrap. That's right. The world is far from perfect. And we all live in this imperfect world, struggling for survival. I could hear drops of rain outside the window, which then turned into a shower, turning the window into a water curtain. The temperature was lower now. Even with the coat, I could feel the cold sneaking through the neckline. The window was covered in mist. The girl paced back and forth before the window. It was long past the transfer time. Any money transferred wouldn't be visible until tomorrow. We could only wait. Something we'd done a lot the past few days. No matter how long it was, the wait was still hard to deal with. I heard her mumbling when she stopped pacing. The girl left this instruction before heading out with her phone. I had no idea who she was going to call. There was no other option but to surrender or escape. How many have you made? I got a chance to talk to the little girl. I saw her nimbly fold and twist the paper. The finished cranes had piled into a small mountain next to her feet. Her movements didn't slow down while talking. She pointed to the colored paper next to her. Let me help. I was bored anyway, so I took out a colored paper to help. It was difficult. And I had forgotten how to make a paper crane, so I could only try to copy her steps. My hands weren't really nimble. She had already made a ton of them by the time I finished one. Even though we followed the same steps, my crane looked super lousy. Even the head was all wrinkled together. I didn't know when she'd stop her movements. Looking at my crane in a starry shape, she gave an honest comment. There's no way I'm making one as good as yours in my first attempt. Also, my hands are tied. Big deal. Just treat this one as crippled or something in the next one. Huh. I tried to grab another paper and saw her take my completed work and unfold it. Really? Still a paper crane, albeit an ugly one. You can't make a wish out of this? She responded plainly. Her determined look left no space for negotiation.
うまくできていなければ使い道がないの。
It's pointless if not done correctly. The broken paper cranes could be fixed. What about broken people? Why does God make everyone different? Wouldn't there be far less arguments if there was only one kind of a person? This thought came to my mind before I remembered a more important matter. Getting out of this conundrum. Hey, do you think you can convince your sister? I didn't have much time, so I cut right to the chase.
姉ちゃんを
You know how messy this has become, right? You might get arrested if this keeps going. You wouldn't be able to escape by then. I talked to her with all the sincerity I could muster. I hoped all the accumulated trust was enough to make her believe in me. Just let me go and I'll hand you all my money. I can also mislead the search. I just need to convince her.
私に何を
The girl interrupted my sentence and stepped into the room. You heard that too, right? If you'll let me go. I tried to make my point with her directly, but she just pushed me aside and walked to her sister.
うるさい。妹に話があるんだ。
There was no hesitation in her look. She seemed to have made some important decision. Giving up. Knowing there was no chance to get the ransom, she decided to escape with her sister. The little girl obediently walked towards her sister, with unease on her raised face.
帰りなさい。
Simple words, but with a major implication. The little girl didn't move and couldn't make any sound despite having her mouth open.
先に王さんのところに帰りなさい。もう話がついたから。でも
She tried to plead for an explanation, but all she got was an impatient response.
そっちに着いたらもう二度とこっちに来ないように。じゃあ姉ちゃんは
The little girl helplessly squeezed out these words. She couldn't even ask why, and could only wait like a convict before the judgment was passed.
これからは一人で何とかする。あんたまでここに残る必要はない。
She said the words coldly and tried to avoid the girl's gaze.
ここにいさせてもらっても
Not able to get her desired answer, she sadly lowered her head and pleaded with a tiny voice.
もう時間がない。
She shook her head and sighed. Ignoring her sister, she started to pick up the paper cranes and pack them up. 1, 2, 3. She held up the paper cranes and with a simple movement, they all fell into the plastic bag.
帰った後決してここに戻るな。何かあったら王さんを頼りなさい。店のことはできる限り手伝いなさい。王さんに迷惑をかけないように。
There's no energy behind those words. The two fell silent. I could only hear raindrops echoing in their empty room. The slender hands, colorful paper cranes, and the echo of the rain. She picked up the last one and threw it easily into the bag. When the moment came that there were no more cranes to pick up, so would the moment of separation. Time stopped. Thousands of words seemed to be exchanged within the silence. When you spend enough time with someone, many things could be communicated without being said. Whether they were good things or things you wanted to hide away.
姉ちゃん
The little girl's voice was trembling. The girl's voice was light and soft.
もう帰ってこないの
The girl paused and didn't answer. Either she couldn't or didn't want to. They had the same meaning. Her long hair covered her face and I couldn't see her expression. Yet her upheaving chest revealed her struggle.
私どうなってもいい姉ちゃんと一緒ならそれだけでダメ
Facing her sister's pleading, the girl didn't say a word. The two looked at each other. Tears slid down the little girl's face and left a mark on the floor.
何泣いてるんだ死ぬわけじゃないし
The girl lightly patted her head with a soft smile on her face.
大事にしな一区切りがついたら帰るから
Seemingly losing the power of speech, the girl just nodded, yet tears didn't stop falling.
早く行きな夜遅いし雨が降ってるから気をつけて帰りな
The little girl didn't move until her sister gave her a push, gesturing for her to leave quickly. Before leaving, the little girl gave me a look. I could sense despair and pleading in her eyes. What did she want me to do? Ask her to give up, or convince my father to pay? I could do neither. All I could do was wait. Her look before I left seemed to ask me to do something. I was left alone in the room, accompanied only by the rain as I listened to the sound of them walking down the stairs and awaited the end. After sending her sister off, the girl returned to the room, shook off the raindrops on her coat, and sat back in the wooden chair and thought. She appeared to be much calmer after making up her mind. She tilted her head and looked at the raining night outside the window. Her lowered eyelids gave it a sense of serenity. No smoking?
なんだあんたも吸いたいのか
Nope. I thought there would be scolding or teasing. So her plain reaction was unsettling.
なんだその顔は
I thought you would be mad.
怒ってどうする
Waving her knife, she seemed to be more direct without her sister's presence.
あんたを殴って親父が金を出してくれればとっくに殴り殺してるよ
Not really convincing from someone who beat the crap out of me yesterday.
うっさい
After contemplating, I figured out now would be the best time, talking to her one-on-one without concern. Hey,
静かにしてくれないか
I have a proposal.
聞きたくない
Just let me finish. Hearing her unhesitating rejection, I sighed awkwardly. It was as though seeing her smirk somehow made me feel a little bit relaxed. 037533162.
Hi.
My debit card password. The one in my bag.
それがどうした？
Her dark eyes stared at me in confusion. She tried to figure out my intention. There's about 700 to 800k in the account. Take all the money in it. You can drag me there if you think it's a trick. The situation had changed since the first time I brought up that proposal. She didn't have a better option. She knew the chance of getting the ransom was low. That was why she had let her sister leave first to keep her out of trouble. Go wherever you want once you get the money. You can just untie me and leave me here too. You want money, right? It isn't much, but that's still more than the millions of Taiwan dollars she would never get. Fearing that might trigger her pride, I hesitated on what to say.
何も手に入れないまま豚箱行きよりはマシってか？
She had guessed my thought from my hesitation. Finishing my sentence for me, she burst into laughter. I could see a strange light in her eyes.
何それ？同情しているのか？ん？
No, it's not that. Since I had come to this, I didn't even bother to sugarcoat my words. I decided to tell her my true thoughts. All my understanding from days of interactions and the questions that troubled my mind. Why can some people hire a private tutor, while they didn't even have a chance to take classes? Why can some people talk about delicacies when they don't even have the money to have a proper meal? You're right. Society is unfair. I repeat her unfavorite line. There's no emotion, just a factual statement. Rich people can hire tutors when the countryside doesn't even have enough schooling. Some people have parents who figure out their career path. They can become managers regardless of their capability or personality, while others will never climb up the ladder. They keep saying there's no discrimination based on upbringing. Everyone has a chance to effort. So-and-so start a whole business on their own. That has nothing to do with effort. Why would some people have to put in more effort to succeed? Where's the fairness in that? If I didn't have enough food and had to deal with debt, I might have done the same as you. I wasn't trying to justify the crime, but perhaps people didn't have the right to condemn them for higher ground. They kept saying things like, why society is so messed up, or you shouldn't commit crimes no matter what, but refused to help them. They attribute all their successes to effort, while all their failures came from their environment or luck. There's nothing but arrogance when these people who lived a carefree life condemned others for committing crimes for the sake of survival. I'm just lucky. I shrugged and concluded. I didn't kill or rob someone. Not because I have a better sense of justice or integrity, but because I am lucky enough not to have to make that choice. Probably never expecting me to say all these things, she looked at me, speechless. The lamp casted light on her face. She wanted to say something, but after a while she just sighed.
こんな話をして何になる？何が変わるわけでもない。それとも、これで私の気が少し楽になるとでも？
I'm just telling you my perspective. You don't want this life, right? You want to live with your sister, right? Her body shook at the mention of her sister, In the end, family was the one thing she couldn't let go of. I don't know your past. No one would end up becoming a kidnapper if they had the choice. You should hide once you get the money. I won't tell anyone about this. They won't even know if I just bullshit everything.
そんなにうまくいくわけが。
Still better than waiting to be arrested here. I directly interrupted her. She didn't retort. I think the cops will be looking for you, so you have to figure something out. I shrugged and told her the truth. Kidnapping was a public prosecution crime. There would be trouble no matter what I said. Do you trust me? The sound of rain started to die down. There's only silence in the room. I could tell the girl was struggling next to the window. When I proposed this to her, she said she couldn't trust me. She had no insurance in letting me go. She couldn't do anything if I broke the promise. The only condition for this deal to work was that she could trust me. I initially didn't feel there was much to tell these people who are nothing but rich-hating whiners. However, I realized we weren't that different, except in our upbringing and education. We could still understand each other through communication. I finally heard a response amidst the rain. There was determination in her cold voice. Different from her initial look of panic, she now seemed to be as calm as a lake surface. Too late? Noticing my expression of disappointment, she smiled and turned her face back to the window. My tensed-up body fell backward like a broken spring. All the hyped-up emotion cooled down instantly as if I'd been drenched in cold water. It's far more frustrating to successfully convince someone when not be able to change anything than not convincing someone at all. I didn't know what her goal was. Why wasn't she willing to concede, knowing there would be no chance to get the money? She couldn't wait any longer before the police came. She should just trust me, wait till everything was blown over. I yawned tiredly. I hadn't been doing much, but the emotional roller coaster and illness had made me exhausted. Noticing my tired expression, she covered herself in a blanket, turned out the light, and sat next to the door. It became pitch black in the room. There's no starlight or street lights outside. I can't even see the room clearly. I decided to break the silence. Please don't just pack me up and dump me on top of a mountain.
いいアイデアだな。忘れるところだったよ。
If you're gonna do it quick. I'd rather die instantly than suffer through it.
あんた、変なやつだな。
That's not a compliment.
褒めてないからな。
Both of us fell silent. The rain started to get heavy again, as though it was never going to end. Still awake? I didn't hear a response, but I could feel her gaze somehow. Let me know if you change your mind. I heard the nonchalant response after a moment of silence. I could vaguely see her through the darkness, sitting against the wall and facing me. I could see that her eyes were looking somewhere past me, far, far away. In that instant, I wanted to know. What kind of future did those pupils reflect?
本当に綺麗で、こんなに綺麗な空を見たのは本当に久しぶりだった。